Good morning.
Welcome, everyone. We are here this morning and it's Wednesday. You know what day it is? It's a day and night day for work, but we're all good. Today, fire with fire. I was really thinking about that last night. You know, how do we apply this to our own lives? Now, I'm no firefighter, so I may say things that, whatever. But in nature, fire. Okay? Fire. You have to know the nature of a thing before you take it on. So they learned that fire consumes things. It needs a fuel source. Okay? Oh, this is coming back to humanity. Don't you fret. So fire requires a fuel source. Good, bad, or indifferent. Now, if this fire is uncontrolled, right? One of the ways they do this is to burn smaller fires to consume the fuel source so that the other fire, the bigger one, can burn itself out because it doesn't have a fuel source. Okay? That's nature. Fuel source is required. It doesn't matter if you're going to warm your hands by it, it still needs a source by which to feed itself. It's just that one is controlled and one is uncontrolled. The uncontrolled fire, right, is the one that can cause the most harm. But don't get it twisted. Even a controlled fire can get out of control because of the nature of fire itself. So when we hear the term fight fire with fire, I think perhaps as humanity, because that's what that is telling us, right? When you fight fire with fire, it usually means there's some kind of violence involved as nature, as what we people do for human nature, without any thought at all. We jump right in. And what do? We do not take into account the nature of humanity. Fire needs a source. Now, there are some emotions that are like fire. Don't get it twisted. Passion is like fire, too. Passion is like fire, but a controlled one. Anger, rage, those are uncontrolled fires. So, when you are in a situation, look at it before you respond. Look at it, examine it before you respond. What is the nature of the thing you're dealing with? If you don't know the nature of the thing you're dealing with, you better know the nature of you. Why, though? Why should you know the nature of you? Because then at least you know how you will respond. You know the nature of fire, so you know how it responds. You know that it needs a fuel source. Now, here's the thing with fire. Sometimes, depending on what's in its pathway, you can wait it out. Why? Because it will consume everything and then it dies. It stops. There's something else. So sometimes, depending on where it is, you can just let it burn. Right? That is the same with people. Anger, right, leaves one exhausted. It has to draw from somewhere, and it draws from the person holding it. Anger draws from the person holding it because fire needs a source. Remember, passion is also a fire. And the end result of fire is to fizzle out. Right? So when you're dealing with people, understand yourself. I'm saying this because there's a much bigger picture. As above, so below. There's a bigger picture. I have been saying to you that others watch our nature. It's marketing, advertisers. They watch our nature and they see what gets us. So they stimulate you. They stimulate the fire within you. And what does fire need to do? It needs a fuel source. It has to consume it. So here we are out in the world, and there's a fire. One of the best ways to combat fire is with earth. Oh, stability, not just dirt, but what is the behavior? What is the nature of dirt, of earth? It is not easily moved. You need some kind of major piece of equipment, backhoes and shovels and pitchforks and things. You've really got to break the earth up to move it. So one would learn to generate stability in their lives, like the earth. Some would call it stubbornness. But stability. The earth is stable, not easily moved. And what it does naturally is smother fires. Naturally. You go camping, you put dirt on the fire, cover it, and it will extinguish. So how do you apply this in your own life? You see a quote unquote fiery situation, bring stability. Bring stability. So you have to be the stable one. You do. So when you're looking at a situation and it is trying to get you fired up, I'm talking things like politics. They tell you don't talk about those things, right? In groups, politics, religion, sex, don't talk about those things because they have the potential to become fiery. So they tell you, please don't talk about those things in polite company, right? There's a reason. Because they rile you up. They get the fire burning for you. Good, bad, or indifferent. So where can you identify in this world that we walk through? Where can you identify that thing or things that are stoking the fire for you, getting you riled up? And because we never stop to observe, we jump in with our fire that is uncontrolled. Remember, their fire is controlled. Whoever is stirring it up has control of it. But if we jump in with our fire, ours is usually uncontrolled. Because the individual just jumps right in because, how dare you, right? They just jump right in without any fore or afterthought. But then who ends up being consumed by the fire? Hmm. Hmm. The one who jumped in uncontrolled. So today, my beautiful friends, watch what stirs you up. Let me ask you this question. If CGI is used in movies, and you're so caught up in the movie, you know there's something there. And you're like, but the movie's so riveting. Where else is it used? Just asking. I'm genuinely asking that question for you because there are many tools used to rouse the human. And those tools that are used to rouse the human, we don't question them. We just continually allow ourselves to be roused by them. And when we do that, you have to understand the nature of fire is to burn. You can harness the burn, i.e., campfire, fireplace. You can harness the burn. This is why, in order to harness the burn, you have to give it direction. You have to give it structure, which brings us to what now? The earth. Use stability, structure, meaning a plan, a pathway. This is how you use fire in a controlled setting. But because we just see fire as fire and not as part of us, because for somehow reason we think we're separate from everything, because we don't see it, we don't apply, we do not apply the nature or the principles of fire to our own lives. That's what we do. If you find that you're overly passionate about things, we could get a little angry. Instead of quote unquote diffusing the anger, because use it, transmute it, shape it into something else, point it in another direction because you need the burn, you need the arousal to move. Fire moves. It moves quickly too. You need that to move yourself. So you need to get passionate about something in order to move in that direction. So you define where it is you want to point yourself towards, and that's where you allow your passion to go. It's a simple thing. As I've told you, if we look around every day, we will learn from everything that is around us. But instead of us learning the nature of fire, okay, what we don't see is how fire is used against us. The nature of fire is used against humanity. And it comes through observation. Right? Look at the different cultures we've got in the world. Each one is moved by something. Black folks now, they're much more passionate about things. So you need something that is really powerful to move them. You need something emotionally powerful to move them. So what are you allowing yourself to be moved by? You are the one that has to ignite that fire within. You. Because now it is controlled. You can direct the trajectory of that burn, of that desire, of that goal, of that passion in your life. Right? But if you allow an external fire, I don't think I need to say more than that. If you allow the external fire to rouse you, you're not the one in control of that fire. You're not the one setting the boundaries for that fire. So if you're not the one in control of it, who is? See, sometimes we think these questions are far-fetched or laced with conspiracy. That's what we think sometimes. But in actuality, it is always to draw attention back to yourself. That is the purpose. Draw attention towards you. You've got to be able to look within without judgment, without discrimination. Now, here's the thing, we say discrimination is bad. It depends on who's using it and what is it being used for. Nothing is good or bad, just how do you use it? You've got to be able to look at a situation and say, no, or yeah, I can do this. But you have to practice using discernment, being discriminatory. You have to practice it. Now, when you wield it against another, that's where the problem comes in. Discrimination is not a weapon, it is a tool. You've got to be able to discriminate between situations. Situations, not people, situations. So when you use it from the inside out to examine your own life, you say, well, this habit over here serves me, but this one, not so much. You have to discriminate between the two habits. This is how you use discrimination. Not wield it against another, but use to decipher between habits in your life to see which one you're going to change. But this involves thinking. This involves observation. This involves knowing one's nature. People talk about, oh, I got to do the work. I got to do the spiritual work. That is what it means to do the work, to examine oneself, or else you will find yourself burning out and you won't know why. Because we're busy fighting fire after fire. It's the fastest way to burn out, y'all. Because we don't examine the situation. We don't apply the natural ebb and flow of things. When it's time to work, you work. When it's time to rest, you rest. When it's time to play, frolic away. Ebb and flow is important. In the ebb, it gives you time to recover so that you can flow with strength. So observe what is going on in your world. And when I say that, I mean observe yourself. What fires are you jumping into because you think you got a big enough hose? Observe the fire first, and then use your discernment. Well, if I do this, that might not end the way I want it to. You know what? I'm going to refrain, which says you're using stability. You're using structure because you've watched yourself. And you said, you know what? I'll pass. I won't allow anything to consume me. But you see us as humans. We just jump right in without any thought, forethought, or afterthought. How is this going to end? We have not decided how we wanted it to end. We just jumped right in without any thought at all. It's just that something's got you riled up and you've got to get your piece out because how dare you? That's what you see what we do? That's the fire that just got lit up in you and you say, "Oh, how rude. How dare you? You don't know me." And you jump in. You did not start that fire. You allowed a fire to rouse you. It happens by way of the news. It happens by way of commercials. It happens by way of music. A lot of people don't like the fact that now allegedly there's a new type of country. Hee hee. They don't like it. You'd be surprised how many people are angry about that. A lot of people are upset that Beyonce won country music, whatever. I don't even know what album, what thing it is she won. I don't care what she won. What I looked at was, wow, y'all are that passionate about it? Y'all are that fired up about it? Y'all didn't start that fire. But here you are, consumed by it in the form of an argument. You see how we get drawn in without forethought or afterthought? We allow ourselves to be drawn in by the mundane and the petty. We allow our fire to be stirred up, our passions to be stirred up by the mundane and the petty, which only has one outcome. Leaves you tired and wanting. Oh, yes. You want to walk through life fighting all the time? Well, then one must observe the types of fires that they jump into. You must grasp the concept that fire is a tool when controlled. And if you know how to control it, now it becomes a weapon to the one who wields it. So what are you allowing to fire you up? What are you allowing to fire you up? Is it external or is it internal? Because we all have fire within. Sure do. Which is passion, light. Fire can't be darkness, it's light. So what are you allowing to rile you up? There are many examples I can give. You know them some better than I do. Right? Because when we allow ourselves to get fired up, we make rash decisions. Again, no fore or afterthought. We just make rash decisions. Don't do that. Why not? Because you're not in control now. You aren't in control. But control exists. So either it is going to be self-control or other control. What are you allowing to control you? And some methods of control are not always obvious. I learned a new saying last night that Beijing say, taking time in laziness. Taking time is not laziness. Hello? Taking time is not laziness. When you are in the ebb and you are resting, you're not being lazy. But some of us can't even sit still long enough without feeling guilty. Oh my God, I should be doing something. I should be working. Rest is important, my friends. So you must examine where that's coming from. Where's that guilt coming from? Why should you feel guilty for resting? You gotta stop that madness. You'll burn yourself out. This is what I'm asking you. Right? Guilt is like a fire. I'm sure is. It consumes you, it eats you up. See, we don't see things. We see what we don't see. I want to say so much more, but it is more important, I think, to remind you to observe yourself. And I say this not just to you. I never just say anything to you. I'm saying it to myself first and foremost, because I know how I get. I get riled up. I do. And in TCM, when you're easily agitated or you're easily angered, that is the liver. The liver has to move stuff throughout the body upright. So up, down, left, and right. Right? That's its job. But when you bog it down with those heavy emotions like anger and resentment and repression, when you bog it down with that, you block directions. So if you block directions, you cannot express the self. Thereby, they come out as little eruptions because you're trying to move the blockage. So they show up in the body as being easily agitated, constant sighing because there's something stuck. There's a direction that is stuck and you're trying to move it. That happens because we allow ourselves to be easily moved by the external. They have a word for it now. The young people use it, call it crashing out. That's what they call it, crashing out. Not realizing that that is a fire, an uncontrolled one. No direction, no thought, just a. And even if you listen to the way we speak about it, they had a meltdown. Hello, a meltdown? What causes things to melt? Fire does. So if you look at the person having a meltdown, there's something there. There's a fire, there's a desire, there's a passion there that is not being expressed, or it doesn't have the ability to move. They don't have any direction. You have to understand what you're looking at. So when you observe yourself and you find that you're easily agitated, you're angry, there is a passion within you that you don't know what to do with. It is a fire and it agitates. And you don't know what to do with it. Well, give it some structure. Give it a pathway to follow. Guide it. That is what you do in a controlled burn. You feel angry and upset about something, and you can't quite put your finger on it. It is a desire that you feel that you have not accomplished. So it builds in your chest and you lose your temper easy, not because you vex at anybody, but because you have not quite found a way to express the passion that you have inside. Oh, artists don't make any money. Look at how many of them are starving. Oh, I gotta find a way to commoditize myself. I gotta find a way to monetize myself. Those are the things we're looking at. You're not a look at what we've done. Since when are you a commodity? But we judge the hooker, do we? We judge her because she's selling her body. And what are we doing? We're finding a way to monetize ourselves. I mean, see, you judge not. We judge. the lady of the evening, for selling her body. Yet, we turn on our cameras and we look for that viral moment that we can capitalize on. So, what did you sell? Well, you weren't using your spirit to do it, you were using your body. Hello? You see? But we don't look at that. We don't look at that, do we? We're just consumed with virality. We're just consumed with becoming viral. See that fire? It makes people do foolish things. Was somebody arrested in Japan or something? Some young Somalian kid talking about he's doing all these crazy stunts and things and defacing their statues and blah 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 whatnot. See, there's a fire within, and because it is uncontrolled, that's what he did. And then when they banned him, oh, why'd you ban me? Hello, no forethought, no afterthought, no structure, no discipline. Discipline does not mean spare the rod and spoil the child. That's not what I mean by discipline. I mean the ability to see oneself and to act in a way that uplifts. That is discipline. You've got to look at yourself, to constantly observe the self. What am I doing? Am I being driven by something else? Or am I driving me? And I told you sometimes what is driving is so subtle that we don't see it. That is why it is important that you know yourself, so that when something emerges, you can hold it up against the light and say, that is not me. But that takes practice. It's not something we just jump in and we do. It is a dedication. It is a way of life. We do it all day, every day. We do. I know this was probably not what you wanted to hear today. But remember, it is always about knowing yourself. Some people are offended by that. But that's something my father used to say to me all the time. Man, know thyself. And I'd be like, Daddy, what does that mean? You know yourself, you'll know God. Do you understand what that phrase means? If you know the self, you will know God. What does that mean? Where's the self? In your bosom is where the self is, in your chest. So if the self is within, I wonder where God is. But you see, every time you say that word, you get them is fighting words, right? That word right there, God. You see how it gets you riled up? It gets us riled up as to where we want to defend the existence or we want to challenge the existence. But never once do we turn within to say, who am I? And that is why we're so easily manipulated. That's why they call us sheep. Because we just follow. We don't ask questions. We just follow. So the question becomes today, what has you fired up? See, sometimes we take offense so easily. On guard. How dare you? We gratify that. And we're out here in these streets fighting and don't know what we're fighting. Don't know what we're fighting and don't know what we're fighting for. All we know is that we fight. There was an experiment done with rats, or was it mice? And originally they would shock the adults, like the grown-ups, yeah? And over time, they used a particular stimulus, and the offspring responded as if they were the ones shocked. I probably didn't tell it right, but that's the outcome. The offspring responded as if they were the ones who suffered the shock. So you see, sometimes we're fighting and we don't even know what we're fighting for or what we're fighting against. We just know we've always been fighting. That is your cue to stop and ask, what in the heck am I doing? Why am I so riled up? But once you start asking that question, ask and you get answers. So do you just want to fight or do you want to understand why you do what you do? And I know this is not a message that everybody wants to hear. But those who have ears to hear will, won't they? Those who have ears to hear will hear. Which means you will understand. Understand that it is your responsibility to guard yourself. Which means you do not allow yourself to get stirred up by things from the outside, because that is called manipulation. You don't allow that. Well, how do you not? By being the one to stir your own self. Indeed. Because you realize how much energy it takes to be stirred up. Now, using your discrimination and your discernment, you choose between, is that thing worth getting fired up over? I need this energy for something else. So I'll pass. I'm not gonna let myself get fired up over just anything. I will choose. So that means you have to observe yourself. In the observation, one learns oneself. Just like if I observe you long enough, I'll learn you. If I observe myself long enough, I will learn myself. You have to know yourself. You want to walk through life talking about, I don't know what I like. All of our responses are conditioned anyway. But we don't see it, do we? We don't see it, that our responses are conditioned. We don't see it. Because it is subtle. So if responses are conditioned, where would the power be? The power would be in conditioning one's self. At least that way, you know what you've been conditioned to do. Anywho, I Sintaz, welcome to the space. And you're from Facebook. Welcome. Welcome, welcome, darling. What a pleasure it is to meet you all through Facebook, huh? K-Frame is here in these YouTube streets. I see you. Who's with us on Fanbase? My sweet KZ. I guess Big Mike got to work. Yes, he did. Oracle Tree House. Hey, girl. Ray Ray. Miss McQueen, my darling. Moon and Dolphin Duck. My sweet Miss Fawn is here. Ah, is that... You see, script sometimes... Is that Claire? Hello, Claire, darling. Welcome to the space. Welcome. It is so good to see you here. It is, truly. Thank you all for being here. And I know it feels like I just ended abruptly, but no, the missive... Oh my God, is it gonna rain today? Uh, oh. I don't know if it's gonna rain today, but I'm beginning to observe that the morning time is slow to emerge. Well, it's a little slower to emerge. So it's darker a little longer. Hmm? This is what I'm noticing as the blinds are there, and I'm like, it's not as bright as it normally would. The point of today's message was this. Our passions, our desires, they're all fire. Our emotions are like fire. They have the nature of fire. They're hot. They're bright. They move quickly. They burn. And we all have them. Not one of us is exempt from them. But the difference is, how will you use yours? Will you allow yourself to be stirred up and roused by the news and this and that? Or will you observe before you jump in? Because at the end, fire always burns itself out. It leaves one exhausted, right? So learn to conserve. I don't even know how many people I watch, because I'm one of them. I'm driving and I yawn. A pedestrian is waiting at the light, they're yawning. Like, we're tired, and we don't see why we're tired, because we're fighting all the time. Learn how to use your inner passion. And how do we do that? Oh, is that Liza? Do I say Liza or do you say Lisa? I like Liza, darling. I like that. But learn how to stir yourself. Learn how to inspire yourself. Because that way, then, you're not throwing all your energy outward all the time. You need your energy for you. To fire you, to run you. That's what you need your energy for. But that's an internal thing. You've got to look within and conserve it. Because you have to understand, when there's a fire and it's controlled, you didn't start it, but it's controlled. It needs a source. I mean, you jump in there, you're allowing yourself to be consumed by it, thereby feeding this fire that you don't know who started. So you're feeding something. What are you feeding? Soul of a man. Hello. Oh, it is so good to see you, darling. So what are you feeding? If you are near fire at all, fire actually growls as it consumes. I don't know if you've ever noticed that. It actually makes a noise. It creates sound. Light is creating, light and sound in the same breath. Yes, because light and sound are one and the same. But we keep thinking in terms of separation. We are not separate from each other. And the more we keep thinking that we're separate from each other, that is what causes us to destroy one another. Because you're not like me. All the while deceiving ourselves. Because if we knew that we destroyed the other, we are destroying ourselves because there is no other. But you see, we can't get our heads around that part because we keep seeing ourselves as separate from. We are not separate from fire. We have an inner fire. So how can you be separate from fire? Remove the fire, the body is gone. What remains? The fire does. The light does. So take time to nurture your own inner fire instead of using your fire to fight an external fire that you have no idea where it came from, thereby weakening yourself. Anyhow, listen, uh, I'm getting fired up. I'm getting fired up, you know? And the thing is, the fire that you start is different. How so? Because you have it, quote unquote, under control for the most part, and you use it to feed yourself with. It's symbiotic instead of parasitic. Listen, I trust that that makes sense to you today on some level. If not, under the video in YouTube, there's my link tree and there's an envelope. When you click on that envelope, it's not an envelope like you do in church, you know, collection plate. It's not that kind of envelope. It's an email envelope. Email me, DM me. I'm not here to argue with people. I'm here to show you that we must look within at all times. It is always within. Because when you look within, you will understand how things got on the outside. Hmm? And when you see how they got on the outside, then you don't fight shadows. You go within to make the change. Because you know why it's on the outside. It is on the outside because it emerged from within you. And that is not a, I keep saying it, admonition. It's not a, I admonish you, punish you. No, that's not what it is. It is within you. That's why you're seeing it on the outside. And so when you begin to recognize the self, the inner, you will also understand why things are on the outside. And you're not going to fight shadows anymore because fighting shadows is exhaustive. And we always talk, you hear the young people always say, bring the smoke. Oh, shoot. Because where there's smoke, there's necessarily fire in there. See, fighting again. It is exhausting. So learn how to preserve your strength and your energy. Learn how to be deliberate in your life. Because that is the end result of being deliberate is your manifestation of your deliberateness. You see? A lot of people talk about manifestation, but they talk about manifestation as a thing to be, as a commodity. That's how they talk about it. A commodity, a thing to be sold, when it is a thing to be understood and applied. So, learn from fire. The nature of fire, learn from it. It is bright. It moves quickly. It warms. Yes? It brings comfort to you, no? This is why South Park and the fireplace. It brings comfort at the fireplace. You have your hot cocoa there at the fireplace, yes? So you see, fire, the nature of fire does many things. But you must learn them. And thereby, when you learn the nature of a thing, you can apply that nature to your own life to become. Yes? Perhaps we'll do a series on the elements. Well, this is all traditional Chinese medicine. Observation. So go forth today, my beautiful friends, and observe your fire within. Observe it, and you will know how to feed it. And when you feed the fire within, you strengthen and you empower the self. Right? Well, of course. You find what you're passionate about and you do it. That's how you fuel your own fire, thereby strengthening yourself. And naturally, you will follow the ebb and flow. You will rest when you need to. You will work when you need to. Right? Anywho, I've got to feed the chickens. And you noticed you didn't hear him yet for the morning, did you? He's still sleeping. Oh, he is. He's still sleeping. And so are the girls. I didn't hear Biscuit cheeping away yet. They're still sleeping. Right? So, I love you. And go forth today and recognize you. Yes? Afternoon delight. Ow. I see you. I see you, my sweet. Delight has entered the chat. Anywho, countdown initiated. You know, I haven't seen my chat lit up like this on YouTube for a long time. Feels good. Feels good. Ray, thank you for that public statement. He says only DM, no SM. Hello. You tell him, Ray. Don't you be in my DMs with no foolishness. Right? Come correct or don't come at all. Yes? Anyhow, Claire, darling, I see you. Thank you all for being here. Countdown initiated. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I look forward to seeing you again right here in these YouTube, Facebook, fan base, and Twitter streets. Every day, Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Why, thank you, Claire, darling. Thank you. I look forward to hearing from you. I do, darling. I do. I do. And I'll see you 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time right here. And if you find that you have a topic and you want us to talk about it, me and Lil Bit will gladly discuss it with you. And for you who are new and you don't know who Lil Bit is, oh, Lil Bit, he's the roo of the roost. He's my rooster, my friend, my companion, my confidant, my emotional support friend. All of the above. He's the sweetest rooster I've ever met in my life. Actually, he's the only rooster I've ever met in my life. And I can sit there and just look at him and he'll look at me. And neither of us will say a word. But then he'll start to rest. And I know, because then I'll fall asleep too. Like literally, I will lay on the floor. He's in my face, I'm in his face, and we will fall asleep. It is, don't ask me because I don't know. I don't have an explanation. I just know that he's my friend. He really is. So, he's always here. He's laying there on the floor, just chillaxing. Oh, are you preening your feathers, sir? You're real quiet this morning. You don't have anything to say to anybody today? Can Mama come and get you? Oh, let's rouse this boy. you're standing. Do it. Do it. Good morning, baby. Good morning. As soon as I got to him, he shook his feathers out. That's what scared me. That's his cue. Don't crow in my arms because you don't have enough. Okay, let me see if I can hold you better to give you the leverage you need. Here, whenever you're ready, you've got the leverage now. Mommy can help you. Go ahead. My sweet feller. Go. Let's put you back on the floor because you can't poop on my bed, sir. There you go, sweetie. He's ready for the day, and so am I. Ah, he just made my morning. That's my baby. Anywho, we love you, and we'll see you again on the morrow, 7 a.m. Yes, he's saying to have a great day. I know. You tell him, little bit. You tell him. Ah, he just warms the cockles of my heart. He is. He's so sweet, you know. Yeah. Anywho, I really gotta go. I gotta be on time for work. Yes, we'll be on time. All right, y'all. Peace.